Welcome back to Boys in the Beis. Today we have an extremely chashuv guest, known for his sick beard, Moroccan and Chabad heritage, and his Dolphins fandom. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to say this. It's Rabbi Arye Sufrin.
Wow, Rabbi, welcome. Rabbi, welcome.
Rob, thank you so much for being here. I thought we'd get started with your origin story. You know, you talk a lot about starting in Deloitte, becoming a Rabbi here at ULA, being in charge of 9th grade activities, and then eventually becoming head of school. So can you talk to us about your humble beginnings, starting with YU and ultimately leading up to head of school?
First of all, it's a big schluss to be here. Boys in the Beis. I mean, we're in a basement. I'm not sure why you don't call it Boys in the Basement.
The YU Cola kicked us out.
We wish we could be in the base.
Okay, fine. Fine. So we're in the basement, but we're boys who learn in the base, doing their podcast in the basement. And it is a schluss to be here. And thanks for having me. My Deloitte days. Listen, my entire life, I thought I was going to be in corporate America. Like, for real. Everything I did in college, I was, Baruch Hashem, I got serious in my learning yeshiva over time, and I learned very beautifully. Obviously, you want to learn more and more, but I got serious in my learning at YU. But my entire life, the plan was to go to corporate America. But I'll tell you that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was a plan for everybody, and my days at Deloitte helped shape and make me who I am. First of all, I couldn't be here without my wife. She's the rock of the Sufrin household and of the community, I would say. But with the experience I got in corporate America, made me a better Rebbe, made me a better head of school, made me a better person. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I would even say that everyone should do a year in corporate America, just the experience. There's a lot of life lessons. You get challenged and pushed as a Jew. And you know, I was working down in Wall Street. You get challenged and pushed as a Jew. And if you can overcome that, it's a game changer. And then I came to ULA. When I came to LA, it was for 1 year. The plan was come for 1 year, and then I was going to go to business school.
It's actually very cool.
And 16 years later,
what's
I'm
like
still
one
here.
specific lesson that stood out that you got from your time in Deloitte that you still carry to today?
You got to be proud of being Jewish. Because I'll tell you, you know, my first couple of weeks that I was there, I was like nervous. I didn't want to. It was obvious that I was Jewish, right? And it was a little bit uncomfortable. I'd have different meals at these different events, and then I would disappear. Like in the middle of the day, there was a mincha minyan in the building that I was in. I worked at Morgan. My company was Morgan Stanley that I was auditing. And I would always chop a mincha minyan, but like I would do it very quietly. I'd sneak out, and then Fridays, like at Erev Shabbos, and they'd be working till 1 a.m. on a Friday, and I'd be out at like 1 p.m. So like I try to do it quietly. Non-Jew, he says, you pray every day in the middle of the afternoon with other people from different companies. He goes, you should be proud of that. And you know, it's a special thing.
Wow, it's very nice. Shifting gears for a little bit. You know, Rav did drive an Ionic, and rumor has it got totaled. Would Rabbi like to tell us what happened?
We'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Amen.
It's a good question. I was at a Yula Chasana. This is what I know. If you guys know other things, please fill in the gaps. I parked my Ionic on Robertson. There's a charger there, right? I parked my Ionic on Robertson. There's a charger there. I'm always hustling to find a charger for my cars.
Yes, we know.
Yeah.
Oh, the Ionic was also electric?
It was electric.
Oh, I never knew that.
My first electric
Wait, can you tell us why you don't have a charger at your house?
Yeah, we can cover that too.
Yeah.
My first electric car was a Fiat. $49 a month. Me and Rabbi Abraham got it. It was a 2-seater. We were paying $49 a month for a car.
Wow.
And we went through 2 or 3 Fiats, and then they got too expensive. I shifted into the Ionic. I was very excited about the Ionic. It felt like a nice chashuv balabatish car, right? So it's I got the Ionic, and I'm always trying to find a charger, but I only need a charge like once a month because I drive between Eula and Eula. That's pretty much it, right? So, I was going to a Eula wedding that night, and with the Rebbitzin, and I went to park my car on Robertson. I charged my car, and then my wife was driving behind me, and then I got in the car and went to the wedding. And I went to the Eula wedding, and then when I came back from the Eula wedding, the car was gone. and I had no idea where it was.
What?
So
The car just disappeared?
It just disappeared.
That's crazy.
So my first suspect was Sokol. Right? Right? So I was like what did Sokol do to my car, right?
Yeah.
But then so then I head down to the police station to see if it was stolen.
How'd you get there?
Good question. I Ubered.
Wow.
Which Uber?
Uber Black?
Huh?
Uber Black?
Pasha. Yeah, it was late at night, right? So, right. So
What time are we talking?
we're talking late. We're talking late. I don't know exactly. We'd have to check the Uber log, but we're pushing midnight probably.
Wow.
And I get to the police station, and I go in, and I'm like, can't find my car. My insurance company said I should report it stolen. I like to report it stolen. Then they start looking things up, and they're like, your car's actually been towed. I'm like, towed for what? Like, I don't know. It's just been towed. So like, okay. So I call the pound. They're closed. So the next day, I go to Eula. Don't know what's with my car. I get into another Uber.
Uber Black.
Of course, right. So I get into another Uber, and I take it to the pound. It's by Sepulveda, by the 405.
Oh, wow.
My car was mamish in half. It was completely totaled.
What?
It was insane, and
Do you know what?
no one knows what happened. The car, someone just hit my car. It was parked on the side of the road, minding its own business, and someone just took out the car, and that was it. And it was a kapara.
That's crazy.
And I thank Hashem that
you weren't
right
in it.
Chazal say that if challenging things happen to you, you should say it's a kapara for kapara savonos. We don't have korbanos today. I think Hashem, my kapara was a Hyundai Ioniq. I didn't break a bone. I didn't break a limb. I wasn't in the car. Baruch Hashem. But it's amazing going through your trunk after your car is totaled, seeing what you leave in your trunk over amount of time. Like you find those farm, you don't know where they went. You find some other things, and that's all that happened to it.
It's crazy.
And then I got myself into a new car.
Last night you were chatting us at 4:30 a.m. I just want to know what is your nighttime routine, and then bring us all the way into your morning routine. We got to know the background about my Sufrin, this guy who's afraid of sleep, doesn't sleep. I get 8 hours every night. You get 1 if you're lucky. How does that work?
It's those were late G chats.
Yeah.
Was it 4:30?
4:30.
4:30 a.m.
4:30
At
a.m.
least they were in WhatsApps.
What? At least they were not on WhatsApps. Baruch Hashem, there's no phones in campus. There's no. We're G chatting now. How times have changed.
It's really crazy.
We have to, but we have to make sure that we don't lose the kesher through the G chat. Now to my sleeping schedule.
Please. I'm so interested.
It depends. It depends on the night. I was up last night because I was talking Eretz Yisrael. So if I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, that means I'm talking to Israel. So I had some scheduled calls with some of the yeshivas already. Planning. What shiurim guys should go into, coordinating, working out different things. It really all depends on what the situation could be. Seminary season, yeshiva season, talking to alumni, catching up. So last night I was up late because of yeshiva. That's it.
And then what time do you wake up?
I was up by 6:15.
So what, you went to bed at 5?
No, I was asleep last night. Probably, I don't know exactly. I probably went to sleep between 1:30 and 4, and then I did my Israel calls, and then I probably fell asleep for 20 minutes.
Is the power nap a common occurrence? Is that the 1:30 to 4 sleep, wake up, go back to sleep?
Power nap middle of the night.
I feel like it's kind of a power nap.
Yeah,
Is that the strategy?
Every night is different.
Gosh.
My mom always told me, my mom's a hardcore Moroccan lady, and she goes, you'll sleep after 120.
That's your Moroccan heritage?
Yeah. Huh?
Your Moroccan heritage?
I'm right, yeah. So you'll sleep after 120.
Amen.
Chavra, sleeping is important. I think the Chazon Ish talks about the importance of getting sleep, especially so you
I think
could.
the Rambam does too,
The
right?
Rambam speaks about. So it talks about learning. It's very important, but responsibility, and people are depending on you. So if you take on a Christ, then people are depending on you, and we'll sleep. We'll sleep. We'll sleep Friday night. We'll sleep on a plane. It's all good.
Rob, one thing I've always wondered is we mentioned in the intro that you're both proud Moroccan and Chabad. And if you are ever with Yula Rabbi on Shabbos, you'll see one common thread. Almost all of them are wearing a black hat. Yet you do not wear a black hat, but you have a Chabad style beard. So what's kind of going on there?
Well, let's go through the statistics. let's get there. So we got.
Who wears the black hat?
Yeah. Let's go through this. It is.
Right, Brown Chick.
Paul and S.
Right. Let's go in order of 9. That way we know we don't missing anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have Rabbi Bronchick.
Rabbi Rose did if we want to
No,
go
no,
now.
no.
Rabbi Hubin.
We're going current or we're going.
We'll go current.
Yep. So Rabbi Hubin. Yay.
Yeah.
He got
Rabbi Bronchick. Yay.
Yeah. Right, Maslow, no.
Rabbi
Rabbi
Maslow.
Tamir, no.
No.
Tamir.
Rabbi Tamir.
He says
Becca Shaw.
he says the 8-foot Becca Shaw. I don't think he wears the hat.
Right. So we're going
Is
Rabbi
that,
Tamir now.
is that
Right.
Israeli?
10th grade Rabbi Abrams. No. Right.
Yeah.
Rabbi Sufrin's no. Rabbi
Well, Rabbi Younger. We
Ra-
skipped.
Rabbi Younger
Yeah.
stays in there.
Yeah.
Right. And
We got Rabbi Becker, Rabbi Stewart do.
Rabbi Becker, Rabbi Stewart. Yeah. They're
Rosenbluth does.
Rabbi Rosenbluth.
does.
Yes. So it's 6-4
Rabbi
right now.
Bonus, yes.
Rabbi Bana 7-4.
Rabbi
Shushan.
Shushan's a yay.
Rabbi
Yeah.
Shushan's a yes, and a fedora on the weekdays.
True. So it's
Majority.
yeah.
Rabbi
it's,
Heller?
It's majority.
Rabbi Heller,
Rabbi
yes.
Heller's a yay.
All right, that's 9. We got
Rabbi
9.
Heller's a small brim though.
Yeah,
It's-
he always
it's-
He said
Rabbi
he always talks
Bonus.
about how he used to have a massive one, but since he moved to LA, Lowell knew he should he shrunk the brim a little bit. So
yeah. The small brim is big these
Right.
days.
It's not that you're in the minority; it's that you have the beard, but not the hat.
I hear.
that's the-
So the question is, it's one of those cases where I think the question's better is going to be better than the answer. The beard, I always grew my beard. You're looking at, I just turned 40. You're looking at 40 years of never shaving.
Non-stop growth.
Right.
It's on its full form, but
It's not its full. It goes a little bit.
a little tuck.
It goes a little bit further. It's not the open house tuck, but it's the tuck, right? So it's
This is the podcast talk.
it's the podcast
Yeah.
tuck. First of all, my parents never forced me to do anything I didn't want to do. That you should know. And I grew my beard in high school, although it never really kicked in. And then in yeshiva, it was starting to kick in a little. And I actually, they started calling me the GOAT. Not the GOAT greatest of all time. The GOAT because they thought I actually looked like a goat with a little, right, it was an insulting goat. My Rabbi Ravelli started calling me that, and then it took off. And then it just became a little bit of the shtick. But honestly, I just feel very connected. I feel very, very, very connected to it. It's there's something special for me to having a beard, and the hat was completely separate. When I was married, just to make this story worse, I actually wore a hat at my wedding.
no.
Yeah, it's true, Cap.
Really?
I'll show you pictures. I wore a hat in my Shana Rishona. So why don't I wear a hat?
What?
Wow.
It's very simple.
Peculiar.
Just don't like it.
No. Left it on a plane one time. Couldn't get back. They don't let you back on the plane. It wasn't
like a
Delta, obviously.
technical answer, just-
And
Two,
it
five,
just,
seven,
it
three,
just
zero,
never
four.
happened.
Wow.
It just never happened. It's not
Wow.
Bashita, but maybe now it's a little bit Bashita. I don't know. It's not Bashita. It's such a weak answer.
Would you go back? Like, would you put one on again, or?
No, I think this is where I'm. I'll tell you this. I went to a co-ed high school, Hebrew Academy, Miami, right?
Go Dolphins.
What?
Go
Go
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
I went to a co-ed high school. I had a beard there. I was always, if I made a decision, I was always confident with my decision, and I would never let those around me impact it. And I think what's amazing about Klal Yisrael is that you can walk into a minyan, and there are people with black hats. There are Yidden with black hats, and there are Yidden with kippahs rugas. And I think that there are Yidden with, hats and no beards, and no hats and beards. And I honestly, I think that's what Matan Torah, that's what Maimon Har Sinai probably looked like. So it's just
True.
close to be a part of it.
So Rav, we have a little games planned for this podcast. I think it's time we begin our first one. You guys fine with that?
Yep.
Our first one is Shtick or Shtark. The way this is going to work, I'm going to list you different scenarios, and all you're going to reply is Shtick or Shtark. Correct?
Right, yeah. Reply
Right.
Shtick or Shtark.
Reply your
Give
instant
us your instant
off-the-cuff
reaction,
response.
but then also give us your explanation behind it.
If there's an explanation.
Okay.
We want your off-the-cuff response, then a little bit of analysis after.
But
You
there's a
want
good
Rashi
amount.
toast.
So
Yeah.
there's a good amount. So like,
Let's go.
Let's fire them off. Go.
okay, here we go. First one, Shtick or Shtark. Singing Lechadoi to the tune of a seasonal song like Misha Nechasadar.
Stark.
Shtark.
I'm going Stark.
You like that? Friday night is nice. Friday
Look,
night is
you
nice.
try-
And
Guys,
He's a happy minion guy. Friday night.
I am a
mean,
happy minion guy Friday night. There's no question. But also, like, look, we played Yidden for 2 months in school to be able to
gosh.
sing it for you got the build up is important. The build up is important.
Okay,
I like
quickly
that.
next. 3D printing a base of Mikdash.
Shtick.
Tying your tie at shul.
Shtick.
Ooh.
Wearing your talis at the Kiddush on Shabbos.
It depends. It depends. Let me tell you why. First of all, if you're wearing your talis because you don't hold of the Eruv, so it's
That's
Shtark.
still Shtark.
Start. You
That's
got
very
it, right?
The Rebbe. The
So-
Rebbe doesn't
right.
hold the arrow, right?
So
That's
so,
why.
So right. So that's Stark. If you're wearing your talis, right?
Fashion statement.
Just like that shtick, right?
I like that.
If you're wearing your talis because you're worried that if you put it down, like one of the custodial crews are going to move your talis and take it, and so then at that point, probably shtick. You should probably be able to just roll up your talis and put it on your lap.
Yeah.
So it really depends. So I do that. I'm assuming that's why you asked the question, right? I do that. So it's probably more shtick than Stark, but I'll tell you why I do it. Can I tell you why I do
Okay,
it?
yeah, totally.
Because I learned once that there's a skula that you should fold your first of all, it's a question of malacha whether or not folding your talis on Shabbos, right? So I don't fold my talis on Shabbos. I'll roll it up, and there's a skula to fold your talis Motzei Shabbos for Shalom Bayis. So I don't want to take off my talis, roll it up and not fold it, then leave it somewhere, and then you got it like you're holding it like it's just the whole
Just
thing.
wearing it. It's just like
The whole thing's there. So it
that's
just
awesome.
stays on. I get to my house, I roll it up, I put it on the table, and then post Abdullah, fold it, school up for Shalom Bayis. The most important Shalom you could have in your life is Shalom Bayis.
Love it. So Rav, having two phones, kosher and non-kosher.
Shtick.
You would never,
You're
you
either
never.
kosher.
5-town minion factory.
510 Minion Factory is so stark. It's so stark, especially when Alicia we pulled up last week to the 5 towns Minion Factory. Alicia had a slice.
9:30 minion. 9:35 pizza.
9:30 man. Alicia's eating a slice of pizza at 9:35. The pizza was at
How'd
least
you
3
get
days
that?
old.
Oh,
That's not true. That's
God.
not
It was super stark.
Rav, being a 10th grade TA for AGT while in 12th grade, or as we know it as the Hakones helper.
Ooh.
Kone's helper.
You got to go stark.
When someone teaches 10th grade AGT.
You got to go stark. I'll tell you why.
There's some guys, I feel like they're just stuck in the Hakones web their entire career. They go in 10th grade, they never leave Hakones.
They never leave our codes.
10th, 11th, and 12th. Just is.
Oh, yeah, Michael Greenfield.
First of all, Mike Greenfield is a first ballot Hall of Famer, Hakone's helper.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Yoni Hollander, first ballot Hall of Famer. But the question is why? Like, if your podcast is going to start having violin music playing right now, this would be the moment, right, in the background. Well, the question is why? Number one, the word no saying to give is a palindrome, right? Which means you spell right, Natan, you spell giving both ways. Because when you're giving, you're really giving back to yourself. Listen, the greatest honor I get to be Mike's Rebbe.
Rav, doing groups for shul.
Shtick.
What if you go to a shkama before?
Huh?
What if you go to a shkama?
Stark.
I like that.
If you go to
Okay,
Ashkama,
enough.
you go to Ashkama before?
Of course.
What's the rate these days to do groups?
It's around $50. $50.
It adds up. And you're going to Ashkama?
Going to a shkama.
Okay.
It's not bad. It adds
You
up.
give Meiser?
Of course.
Meiser's a percentage for a reason. It's not the amount. It's a percentage. It's not, right? So,
Agree.
Ashracha.
Trying to start songs and it comes it's.
It's shtick and it's annoying. So
You don't like it at all?
Let's talk Noam Sokol's at number one.
No, look.
Song starter.
I'll tell you what it
This
is.
is mostly for me.
I'll tell you what it is. It's not. It's the key to starting a song at a kumsitz. Number one is not the song. So when a guy starts a song, he just wants to sing the song. But if you don't start on the right key, the song has no chance at the kumsitz. So most guys, when they're trying to get in on a song, they're starting at the wrong key. So the key is so important, number one. And also there's something to like the flow. Like you can't be like suddenly in the middle of a Chila Lakel and then suddenly you're like Hoshia es Amen. Purim night though, I was feeding Simcha Liner the songs, and I one of the chaver, the senior guys, put in a request. I was like, no request tonight, no request.
Yes.
Tonight.
Wearing tzitzis over your shirt.
When? In the summer?
School.
In the summer?
Summer
Shtark.
is Shtark. Yeah.
In Walmart in the summer? Shtick. But in your actual camp? Shtark.
In
school, Shtick.
That's very shtick.
It's
why are you doing
just
that?
where your tits is.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
But now, if you're telling me shtick with tzitzis or no shtick with no tzitzis, do it.
Tzitzis is always Shtark. Yeah.
Shtick leads to Stark.
What about wearing tzitzis during like a sports game, like Nag wears its tzitzis in flag football
Ooh,
game?
that's like as Shtark as it gets.
Super Shtark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, you're gonna really love this one. When
Say
Spartum
shtick.
tried to sing Nakti Shach in a school-wide minion.
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't even know what I would say.
That's a good question. I think I gotta go Shtark because I think they're
They're genuine. I don't know.
I think they're going. I think they're proud. I'm going back to
I
Lloyd
beg
Gaines,
to
be
differ.
proud.
I beg to differ.
Tell me,
with
Alicia.
I think it's Shtick 100%.
it's
Because
just
I
despite
think
the
it's just to
Ashkenazim,
despite
yeah.
they're like, oh, Ashkenaz, they don't sing, they have no
Minion
tefillah, they don't
Honestly,
daven.
we
I think-
have guests watching our show. I would love to really hear what a person
I
thinks.
really-
What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Come
What do you
in,
say?
come in, come in.
Yash, I'm going Shtark.
It has to be Shtark because when we join the Ashkenaz Minion, it feels like we're part of a hospital minion. So
Oh
we're
my
coming there
gosh.
to
See,
try
that's
to-
what I'm saying. That's why it's Shtick. He's trying to so hard to get his like. They love hating on Ashkenaz davening.
When you know,
Wait, but
I
I actually
jumping in on the Kadishes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's shtick.
That's Shtick, right? And Vishiv
So
right?
That's Shtick.
Unless it's Shabbos Mincha. then.
Oh, yeah, Shabbos Mincha Shtark, right? But on Tuesday at Eula, that's
That's not Shtark.
that's
Yeah, but do you think that the Ashkenaz minion at Eula is a little bit hospitally?
a little bit what?
Hospital minion?
What is it? What is
It's a little bit like
He's saying
no
it's quiet,
no
singing,
singing, no
the answer's dead. It's
dancing,
dead.
no
It's dead.
thing,
You-
no
you-
talking.
You mean it could use some oomph?
Yeah.
That's what he's
Meaning
implying.
decorum is good, the
Listen,
dominant is
remodel
there.
helped. At least it's brighter in there
Yeah,
now.
it
used
was
to be like
very dark. Oh my
Say the new
God.
lights.
Yeah,
It used to actually be
The,
hospital.
but the new lights were very hard to work on. By the way, it wasn't so pasha. It was very hard. I'm sure. Listen,
that stuck it through.
you know what is the minion could probably use an oomph in ruach, no question. The decorum is beautiful. The tefillah is beautiful. The respect for davening is beautiful. It could probably use an oomph, but it's also like, you know, with teenagers, if you know, you're talking about tefillah. Tefillah's kadosh. There are people you never know what someone's davening for. You know, I have the tremendous chus to know about a lot of things going on in people's lives, not everything. And I'll look at a kid in Shemona Esrei, and I know exactly what he's davening for. If that boy who was just talking to the guy next to him knew what he was davening for, he'd be davening even harder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, so sometimes you
Just don't really know.
you don't know. So like adding shtick to that just for like the sake of shtick, like this is like it's a real conversation with the Rabbon Shalom. And by the way, it's a message. It's a message to all of us. Like even if you don't feel so connected to tefillah, if you just look around, you'll see someone that is, and you know that they're davening for something big, and just like if you care about that person, look at the person next to be like, you know what, I don't know what Alicia's davening for, but I'm davening for Alicia right now. Just down for the guy next to you.
Be answered.
Love that.
So Rav, want to take it again?
Yeah, this is from the audience. What about those guys like right before a big break, they'll send a fill-in reminder on the WhatsApp chat.
Shtick or Stark.
Ooh,
That's
that's
so
so strong.
I like that.
Someone already said it, and they'll say it again. So that's definitely.
I think it's Stark.
I actually think it's Stark.
think
What,
they really
what,
ca- I think they care.
one of my highlights this year, and it's terrible because it was in the
Palisades Fire.
Yeah, it was during a tragedy when we canceled school because of the Palisades fire, and something like that should never happen again, and people were tremendously impacted.
Good.
But when we sent out the message that we're keeping campus open to get your tefillin, and you saw how many boys came. First guy was Weinblatt. Weinblatt was the first guy to pull up, and
Closest guy also.
Man.
I-
It's very close.
yeah, I hear, but he could have taken his time. He could have also said,
He walked down the hill.
"School's right there. I could go in 45 minutes." Right? He was the first guy. You know, he showed real zrizus,
Yeah.
but the amount of chevra that came out, we were schmoozing. We were all schmoozing after.
Had a good
Like,
time there.
Ditching the mentalist on the Shabbaton to talk to a Rav. That is a tough one.
I'm going Shtark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
answer.
That's
Good
just a
answer.
stick. I don't understand why
Right.
it's there. I've
I-
never been a fan.
It is
Right.
sticky.
I'm going.
It's such a force.
I'm going. I hear you, Barack. I'm going.
Saturday night rub. You know, it's a Saturday night thing.
Yeah, but we want to get out of there, Motzei Shabbos.
It's
You
like
know,
yeah.
you end on the Shal Shudis Havdalah and you move. You know, but it's you got to go Shtark. Anytime a guy wants to talk to a Rebbe and give up an activity for it, you got to go
What if
Shtark.
the rub just wants to ditch it also, and he's using that as an excuse?
I hear. I hear.
This
I'm
is a-
still going Shtark.
This is a personal question. We're done with Sugar Shark. Well done. It was a personal question. It's my podcast. I gotta ask it. Why does everything Sokol does stress you out? And second question,
Follow-up question.
can I come to the trustees dinner?
Wow. Okay. First of all,
I've been waiting for this.
nothing you do stresses me out. Let's start with that. And until I felt that you believed I cared about you and loved you and appreciated you, which I always did, no matter what happened, right?
No matter what.
No matter what. Unconditionally. But until you believe that. So I had to the right thing, I think, as a Rebbe was just keep it zipped up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you keep things zipped up, that could be perceived as stress. But I think that was a big turning point. Because
I 100% agree.
because I first of all, you showed me that you cared, which was beautiful to see. My philosophy as a Rebbe is it goes back. Yeah, can I share?
Yeah, we were actually going to ask another question.
That was
so-
actually,
actually
that
was
was totally
another
the question.
Okay. So my philosophy, Rebbe, and it goes back to Noach, right? Where if you look at the story of the Mabul by Noach, Noach is standing out, and the pasuk tells us that he basically waited out there till he felt the water in the flood, and only when he felt water did Noach enter the teva. And Rashi says, why did he wait till it started raining? And Rashi says, because mikatne amonahaya, because Noach had limited emunah. So the Netziv goes crazy. Says, what do you mean Noach had limited emunah? The guy built a teva on land. Everyone thought he was a sociopath and a psychopath and a lunatic. He's building a teva in the middle of dry land, saying the world's about to get destroyed, right? Noach had emunah. The Torah calls him a tzaddik. Noach eats tzaddik, right? Right? So obviously he had emunah. What does it mean he didn't have emunah? And the Tif says so beautifully. He says, it's not that Noach didn't believe in Hashem. Of course Noach believed in Hashem. It's that Noach didn't believe in himself. Noach didn't believe that he was the right guy to save the world. He believed that Hashem was going to save the world, but maybe it should have been the other guy that built the table. It should have been the other guy that saved humanity. He didn't believe in his abilities. And Chevra, when you don't believe in the kochos that Hashem gives you, even though you believe in Hashem, a part of you, by not believing in your kochos, a part of you is not believing in the Rabbon Shalom. So my philosophy as a Rebbe is to help each Talmud believe in themselves. If you believe in your abilities that Hashem gave you, I didn't give it to you. I can never give it to you. If you believe in your abilities, then you could take hadracha and you could be a mekabel and you can make big changes, transformational changes in your life. And I'll tell you, Sokol, when you asked me that question, you helped me understand that you believe in yourself. And I was and so the answer to your question is, it would be my honor to have you at trustees.
Wow.
Right? It'd be my biggest chus to have
Thank
you in
you,
trustees. I just think we're going to leave you in the garage, though. No.
I'll stay here in the basement.
What's your car?
What? Yeah. No, but trustee, Sokol, I'm serious. We haven't invited anyone to trustees. You're the first invite.
Wow.
Thank you. Wow, that's very nice.
Barak, should I rescind the invite? Fair invite?
No, leave it.
Rob, filter idea for next year, right? You want to share about that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually kind of curious.
So we always like to take on a project every year, right? So this year was
No
no
phones.
cell phones on campus.
Also, on top of that, maybe you could tell us the hashtag for next year. Any ideas?
I don't know the hashtag. You
that
can help
does
me.
happen
play
in
with-
the
How
summer.
do you
How
we do it in the
cook
summer.
up the
Well,
hashtag?
Rosenbluth
What do
came
you-
up with one I think 2 years ago or 1 year ago in the summer, right?
I heard Red
He helped,
was,
yeah.
Red Bromchick was big on Ariula.
Yeah, he was. So we
Yeah.
sit in a room. The whole leadership team sits in a room, and we talk about goals we want to work on. And I facilitate the conversation, and till we get it all the way to the end of what that specific is. And this year we came up with our EULA because we were trying to emphasize it's not about I, it's about us. So I don't know yet. It's way too early. If you have ideas, though, we'll take the ideas. But I think the big idea next year. I already met with Rabbi Ben Shushan and actually Rabbi Lebhar from Magen Avot.
Wow.
His chus.
That's now at you, the
and
girls.
Who's now right the newest shul at the girls division
Really? I
campus.
did not know that.
Wow.
Breaking news
Yeah.
on the pod.
Now getting
Yeah.
votes at Eula girls.
Magen Avot. Last Shabbos was its first Shabbos.
Did you go? Oh, you had
Opening
I didn't
week.
go. I didn't go.
Opening week.
I mean, EULA now has, I guess, four minyanim on our campus.
Wow.
Between Westside Shul, Yola, the Stiebel, and Magen Avot. And there was a push for filtering. There was a push for filtering, and we're trying to. We've been raising money on the side that anyone next year who's willing to really filter their phone in a real way for the year, we're going to take them on an insane trip. But it's not like a 1 week a challenge for Yom Noraim. Like you have to commit to it in the year, and they'll be like check-ins.
Out of state?
This is going to be a big trip. This is going to be a big trip, right? I don't want to reveal too much, but this will be a big trip. We've already started raising some of the funds. Chavra, we're enslaved by those devices.
Agreed.
We need them.
Agreed.
You need them in the world, used correctly, but like they hold us back. And then even when we take them away for the day, which has been a game changer for both campuses, really, in the most beautiful way, even if you don't love it. And I think most people like it, and I think everyone sees the benefit. But even if you don't love it, if you like, it's so sad. It's like 4:30, the bell rings, and the way the guys run at their phones, like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet at like it's just, it's. I think it's the next stage. It's the next level. We got to move the yeshiva a little bit further. Would you have done it this year?
100%.
The filter, yeah.
Definitely.
So I like to say, well, it's a new phrase I came up with a few of the chevra. I don't want to take full credit, although I don't remember how it exactly came up. You know, we got to go from a generation of FOMO to a generation of POMO. You got to go from fear of missing out to proud of missing out, and that's my new vort in the last month. It came with Siyata Shema. It came about a month ago, and it's like, and when you say POMO sounds ridiculous, FOMO sounds ridiculous. FOMO. Some guy came up with an acronym, FOMO, and
Yula's got Tomo and POMO.
Right, exactly. So it's like, if FOMO can become part of our jargon, why can't POMO? And that's the word. Why we fear.
It actually rolls off the tongue really well.
Fear of missing out. So like, I think that, maybe we got POMO. Be proud of missing out. Mm-hmm. Be proud to have a filter. Be proud. I'm not going to that place on a Motzei Shabbos. Be proud. I'm not like be proud that I'm taking my safer on a plane. Be proud I'm dominating a mini in the airport. Be proud of it. And you know what? It goes back to Deloitte. Be proud you're going to Mincha, Rabbi. Just be proud of it.
Wow.
Rav, one thing I've always wondered, you're obviously a very public figure. Everyone knows you. Everyone recognizes you. And like, things happen in the school. Is it tough to always be in the public image? Like, are there ever days where like, wow, I wish no one here recognized me, or like whatever? Like, you always have to see people in public coming up to you. Like, I'm sure you love it, some of this, but are there ever times like this is just so difficult?
It's very challenging, but it's very hard. That's the truth. It's very hard, and there are times where it can be very lonely at the top. And that's listen, that's leadership. But it's hard for a different reason. It's hard because I'm not too concerned if someone has a complaint and they're going to bother me at Kiddush, or I have to stop every 7 steps, on the way home from shul on Shabbos, and B'simcha Rabbah, saying, that's a responsibility, and I understand it comes with the territory. That part's not the hard. The hard part is sometimes you just want to sit in shul with your kid, right? Sometimes you just want to go to your son's basketball game, Kaplan, on a Sunday in the Valley, and not talk Eula, and just watch your son play ball. Sometimes you want to go to dinner with your wife because it's your anniversary, and every table you have to stop and say hello. So like, when I say it's hard, it's not hard for me. It's hard for my family. It's unfair, right? So it's like, I remember like once we were going to go to the winery, me and my wife, and it was like for a wine tasting. Like, how are we going to drive back? Like, if it's a wine tasting, not like that doesn't seem so responsible. Rabbi Sufrin arrested for a DUI. Like, it's just not going to work well, right? So, so we Ubered there, and she's like, you sure we can get an Uber back? I'm like, we'll get an Uber back, but I guarantee we'll know someone there. We'll get a ride back.
Take us, yeah.
We'll get a ride back. We walked in, like, we had like 9 ride offers back. Wow. I'm saying, so like, it's beautiful.
Why were they able to drive?
It's a fair question, Barak. I don't know.
Question.
But so that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. You know, you just there's some times where you just want to be with your family, and Chevra, and anyone who's actually watching this podcast, I'll tell you this:
There's a lot of people that watch.
for every Rebbe, or if you're at the girls' division, a mechanechet, that is there for you, just know that there's a spouse behind that person that is carrying an extra burden, so that person can be there for you. It could be a Rebbe being there for you late at night. It could be you being there for a Friday night tish, or for Havdalah or Shalosh Shudis, or going on a trip, right? Rabbi Bramchik just took you guys on a 12th grade trip. He was with you from what day did he leave?
5 days off.
I think it was
Wednesday night. Oh, never
Extra
mind.
six.
yeah,
My
bad.
and then it was an extra day. Like his Rebbitzin was alone for 6 days, saying like, you know, like, and Rabbi Bramchik had it very good. And every Rebbe, Rabbi Abraham, Rabbi,
Tamir.
you know, Rabbi Tamir, Rabbi, you know, Rabbi Ben Shushan,
Rabbi
Mr.
Shai.
Pulitzer, like all the Chevra, like,
Yeah.
well, you know, there's someone behind it. So if you ever see their spouses, to everyone watching, thank them a little bit louder. Show them appreciation, because they deserve everything.
We got our very own edition of Google questions with Rabbi Sufrin.
Wow.
Meaning,
So
I'm
we-
supposed to
yeah.
guess it?
No, peel it off. Peel it off.
Rabbi Sufrin.
Rabbi
Here we go.
Yeah.
Does Rabbi Sufrin?
All right, does Rabbi Sufrin keep Chol Yisrael? Yes.
Wow.
Rabbi Sufrin keeps Chol Yisrael.
Okay.
Does Rabbi Sufrin's family keep Chol Yisrael?
Does Rabbi Sufrin?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
They're getting there.
What?
New
What?
project every year.
It's a personal thing.
Just move the mic a little down.
This way?
Yeah.
Okay. Does Rabbi Sufrin have his wisdom teeth? I think I don't know.
Suffix.
What? It's a suffix. I don't know. Is it? Yeah, we're good with the mic.
We're good.
Does
The suffix. Don't even know.
does Rabbi Sufrin get food stuck in his beard? Pasha. Yeah, of course, obviously.
How do you clean it?
What?
How do you clean it?
If someone tells you food, you know, you start pulling. You start pulling, right? But to pull and not let it get untucked, now that's a talent, right?
Ooh.
Does Rabbi Sufrin watch shows? Like TV shows?
Yeah.
Watch
No,
shows.
No
No time.
No
Zero
time. No time.
Documentaries in
Do
the
you
summer.
do you have free time? Is that a thing?
There's no time to watch shows. I'll watch docs in the summer.
Plane or
Docs.
something?
He's a big
On a
docs guy.
plane,
Torah,
something like a
Torah.
very long flight. I like my safer on my plane. I like my nap on my plane.
Oh.
But like there'll be times where like I'll watch something.
Big Chidushay Harim guy on the plane.
It depends on the year. This year was big. I pick a new safer every year. So like that safer is my safer that I
Nice.
try to learn on my free time, like flights, Ubers, those type of things. Have I watched the show? Yeah, but I'm saying like no, I don't.
Wow.
You're
This one's
I'm
got-
not holding.
There's also a little piece of tape too. You gotta take off.
Is Rabbi Sufrin the oldest sibling? I'm not the oldest sibling.
Oh,
I'm-
Structure.
Structures like this. Well, I have 3 half siblings. My mother from her first marriage, right? Who are my siblings, right? And then it's my older sister Chava, myself, and then I have a younger sister, Devorah.
nice.
Did you think I was the oldest?
Yeah.
What
give
is
off
Rabbi
oldest vibes.
Sufrin's favorite memento in his office?
Wow.
Which campus?
This
Ooh.
one.
Boys,
This
boys,
one.
boys,
What?
boys.
Boys, come on. You wine?
I have some good. No. The 45. No, that's.
Nah.
I have some. Ooh, it's a good question. I have some good stuff in there. I think my favorite memento in the office. It has to be from Avishai Zarevpour. Avishai Zarevpour. You know Avishai Zarevpour? Avishai Zarevpour wasn't going to yeshiva, and I met with his family. This kid was a special kid. I met with his mom, and in her merit, she agreed. We met after the Torah celebration at the Leeds house, and in her merit, she let him go to yeshiva, and he went to yeshiva, and he came back with a picture of me and I think Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef that he took, and he like blew it up for me and gave it to me with a beautiful note thanking him for going to yeshiva. And every time I look at the picture, I remember. And now we started a minion for Sephardi kids, like for young Sephardi guys. So that's special. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I got a clock from Miss Palomo. Do you remember Miss Palomo?
Remember that? Remember
What time's on the clock?
6:13.
6:13. I got there's some really, really good.
I remember the batteries weren't working. You're like, doesn't matter, doesn't need batteries.
Yeah.
Be better. Yeah.
I'll throw in one great memento. Ethan Cohen-Teb. Do you know who Ethan Cohen-Teb is?
All the Spartan behind the camera are laughing at that
Ethan Cohen-Teb. It was Ethan Cohen-Teb. I gave a speech in 9th grade, freshman retreat, about Milorad Kavich and Michael Phelps.
Oh.
You know Greenfield, you know it?
I said they were gonna say it.
There's
What?
people called that you were going to say
Milorad
this.
Kavich.
Yep.
And the whole thing is how Milorad Kavich loses to Michael Phelps by 1/100th of a second. And like I was speaking about Kedushas Zman, the smallest thing. And like that's what you got to do in high school. And I spoke about no one knows Milorad Kavich because he lost the race by 1/100th of a second. And Michael Phelps breaks the world record. So like look how the smallest time. At graduation, Ethan Cohen-Teb comes up to me with a picture. It's in my office.
I like that.
Of Milorad Kavich and Michael Phelps touching the wall, and you see Phelps beats him by 1/100th of a second, and it's autographed by Milorad Kavich. Wow! He found Milorad Kavich,
Wow.
Send him that one.
got it autographed,
That is nuts.
and Ethan and got it autographed and just as a thank you gift, and it's in my office. It's a great. It says to Rabbi. It says to Rabbi, and Ethan Cohen-Teb was supposed to go to Berkeley. He went to Mivaseret and ended up at Landers College. The tremendous Ben Torah.
Nice.
Nice. I love it.
Top right corner of my office. Check it out.
All right.
Let's see it.
What is Rabbi Sufrin's favorite restaurant
Good Shiloh.
in LA?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Lenny's was really good just because
Lenny's was.
it
really
was
good.
very good.
I don't know. I'll tell you my favorite dish. Can I have a favorite dish?
Yeah. Favorite dish.
I like the Western burger. I like a good Western. I'm basic.
Simple.
I'm not a foodie.
Yeah.
What is Rabbi Sufrin's all-time favorite Eula basketball game? Ooh. Well, you got to do Eula Price just because it made history last year. But my favorite game was probably like 10 years ago. It was at Sarachek. Semifinals. No. It was Eula versus Shalhevet. And we were down 3 with a few seconds left. And Matthew Reich, a 10th grader, gets the ball to shoot a 3, gets fouled by Jojo Fallis. You remember Albert Fallis, his older brother? Of
course.
Jojo switched from Shalhevet to Eula. He's a great from Eula to Shalhevet. It was a great yid, but like it was like at the time there was like tension between the chevra. He's a great kid, and he fouls Matthew Reich with no time on the clock. And Matthew Reich, a 10th grader, goes up to the free throw line, makes all 3 free throws,
Wow.
goes to OT, and
That's
Matthew Reich
crazy.
then makes a game-winning 3, like a far game-winning 3. And Eula won. And then Eula went on to win Sarachek.
Wow.
But that was a fun game.
All right.
Good
so,
game.
Rob,
Okay,
we have
let's end it with one more game.
one last game.
Pass this to me. Put it right here. This one's gonna be very fun. Let's move our plant.
Take a
We
little
got
explanation.
another surprise.
What isn't behind that?
This is called, Alicia, if you want to announce the game. what
This
it's
is called the
play.
Shiduch game. We have a wheel of 14 yeshivas,
Here
and we
it
have
is.
a hat with 14 seminaries, and we're gonna see if
spin the wheel.
we're gonna spin the wheel and pick one random seminary from the hat.
And you gotta say,
if
is
it's a
it a shidduch or is it not a
well,
shidduch?
a little bit of a rule. If it is not a shidduch, you have to give a
scenario.
scenario in which it could be possible.
Potentially work.
So let's do,
So-
we're gonna,
It's 10 out of 10 of creativity. I'll give you guys that. 10 out of 10 of creativity. Whoever came up with it. Listen, not to bring this back to Gemara, but the Torah. But I'm saying prime reality of Torah. We have to get the pillars in there, right?
of course.
But Gemara says that every shidduch that's made is it's bigger than Kriyas Yamsuf, right? So who are we
It's more
to say?
than just.
Who are we to say what a shidduch or not
We just want
shidduch
to know.
is?
We just
I'll
wanna
tell
know
you,
for us.
Generic-
me and my
generically.
wife on a wheel and a hat is not a shidduch. You know what I mean? 5 towns, Moroccan, Sephardi,
Ask anything happens.
Chabad, all the way. Like we're you know. Well, I'm just saying. Like, and Baruch Hashem, we're a great shidduch. So I want to go out. I'll play the game.
All right.
But I just want you to know.
No,
What?
disclaimer. It's not
Right?
perfect.
It's,
yes, disclaimer.
The Rabbon Shalom, I think everyone has 7 b'sherets in the world. The Rabbon Shalom knows exactly who you belong with, regardless of what yeshiva and seminary you go to. And if you want a good shidduch, you should start davening for it now. Don't wait till you're, as they would say, in the parsha, right? You know, start davening for a shidduch now. We're talking about. I said this to the 10th grade boys by the kever of Reb Tzin Chaim Mushka, Lubavitcher Rebbe's wife, when we were at the OL last week. I said the most important decision you're going to make in your life is not what yeshiva you go to, and it's not what job you take, and it's not what city you live in. Those are all important decisions. And it's not what college you go to, and that's also an important decision. The most important decision you're going to make in your life is who you marry. That's the most important decision you make. Who you marry. And you tell me that one seminary feels better than the other. That's the game of Shtick or Shtark. That's Shtick. Right? Say,
This is very
What
Shtick,
about the
yeah.
yeshiva Google Doc?
the Yeshiva Google Doc is a travesty. You're talking
Which
about
is the worst thing of
you're
the
talking about
21st century.
where people go.
Gosh.
That's going to be a project of mine next year. That's a disclaimer, by the way. I'm taking that doc down.
He's taking it down.
It's a travesty.
Why?
Do you know how much lush and hara comes from it? Think about it. You're trying to find roommates, and then you look at it and be like, that guy got into the yeshiva, and you're like, I know that guy from camp. That guy got into the yeshiva. What, you know how much lush and hara, and rechilus, and comes from such a thing? It's a travesty. That it's like we go to yeshiva, we go to seminary to like become the best ben Torah or the best bas Torah that we can be, and it's all rooted in. Once we get in, it's a rat race to that document. And then what about like when random yeshivas like Malafafei Tzion, open up, and then like Gershon Spivak is in like 100 of the yeshivas, saying like, why is that? Like why? Like it's. The yeshivas have to stop it. I'm just Altzmidos. It's not where we should be. Do you agree with that?
I actually do. I do hear that.
I was surprised there even was one.
Yeah.
Shouldn't
So,
have
bro,
happened.
you want to pick out the first seminary in the hat?
Give it a good mix.
And then spin the wheel.
Good. Here we go. Okay.
It's not like they're in order.
SF Shalvin for women.
Wow.
SFW, great seminary. Yeah. So now
All in
what?
for women.
Alicia, give it a spin.
Come on, bro.
One
You
more,
can do
one
better.
more, one more.
What is it?
What is it?
Nativ and SFW.
Yeah, that works.
Ooh,
That
that
could work.
works.
It's got to be, Nativ guy, a second year, third year Nativ guy, Shalvin.
All right.
Yeah,
All right, keep the paper
I'm
out.
sure that shidduch works.
Okay,
New
cool.
one?
Let's go. Let's do rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
All right, here we go.
So can you spin while I pull?
Yes, sir. 3, 2.
Eshel.
Eshel.
Eshel Oraita.
Ooh.
That's tough.
That's tough.
Listen, the
Wait, can you explain to Eshel what it's like?
Eshel is an awesome Sephardi seminary
Mm,
in the Old City. They're both in the Old City. So
interesting.
I don't know of anyone from Eshel and Oraita who have gotten married yet, although Be'ezras Hashem, it should happen.
Man.
But if they're in the old city and they haven't met yet, so it's anything's possible because Rabbi Shalom runs the world.
What we're gonna say?
But
but-
we're saying no.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Let's move
All
on.
right, let's
Pick one.
Nativ,
No, again.
you want to roll it
yeah,
again?
we
go.
do
You
it
can't have
again?
the same one
Respin.
twice. You got to respin.
Leva Torah, Tiferet. Yeah, good shit.
Yeah.
Both in Beit Shemesh also,
Actually,
by the
it's-
way.
Wow.
Shout out Nate Gottesman.
Right? Both in Beit
It's
Shemesh.
Actually, I like that.
Yes. Also Marcus Kate just joined the
Marcus
army
Kate.
from Leva
Mm.
Torah.
Wow.
Here we go.
Who we going?
What do we got?
Shraga?
Shraga.
Shraga MMY.
Ooh.
Shraga. Yeah, it goes. It depends
I
on the
feel like
guy.
a lot of these are
Depends on-
shit up.
What?
Yeah,
Be
no.
honest.
Wait, what do you mean depends on the guy? Let's get
I
to
mean,
it.
listen, Shraga produces unbelievable B'nai Torah. Noam Meisel's from Eula. Noam Steinloff.
Lev Sokol.
Lev Sokol. I'm saying these what any MMY girl would be lucky to have these guys.
Lucky to have Lev.
Oh,
What is it?
Lev's the one we've been waiting for.
Yeah, there we
Make
go.
it good. Picking.
Touch it
Oh, the rub's picking. The rub's picking.
I have not touched
you
it.
know what? You know any
All right, we'll do it fair.
You know what? Any part of that one.
There we go.
You know
There we
what?
go,
He's
there
He's
we
like,
go.
Aish, nah.
You want to pick?
You can pick.
There, there.
I want to go back to that one that I was though. It's really funny.
What's the best fit?
There we go. Aish and
Aish.
Mevaser. Yeah, Aish and
Yeah.
Mevaser. It works.
Easy.
Two great places.
Easy.
Mavs. Shout out to Berg.
It's legend.
Right?
Us three are going there.
Right?
All Mavs burgers.
It's all Mavs guys.
All Mavs burgers.
What is this Mev? Explain to me this Mavs.
Sokol, you asked.
Any
for burgers, so-
Eula guy who goes to Mavs. Special. These are special guys.
Mm.
These are special guys. All right.
Give it a spin.
Let's go two more.
What do we got?
we got?
TVA.
TVA. Here we go.
Torah Via Voida.
TVA and Bear Miriam Machon.
Okay, you gotta explain that.
Yeah, I
I've
don't-
never heard of that one in my life. What's the vibe there?
Bear Miriam goes with Bear Miriam is like it's
It's a one size fits
Like
all.
a-
yeah. Bear Miriam, good seminary, good girls, special educators there.
I think for our last one, I'm just gonna pick. I just want to go with Rashis for the yeshiva.
Rashid, yeah.
Because the Rav went there. We gotta give him some love.
It's Rashid and who?
Pull one.
There we go.
Rashid and a little spin.
What? Rashid and Midmo. Yeah, that's a shit up.
Shit up.
Shiduch.
There's a lot of Rashid Midmo guys, but Midmo also it's like Bear Midmo girls. It's an amazing seminary, and Rashid's amazing yeshiva. The bottom line is, they all go together because HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. Sokol say it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the
Kadosh
world.
Baruch Hu runs the world.
They all go together.
Amen.
All right, Rav.
Finish it
To
up,
finish
last
it
one.
up. You want to take it, Sokol?
What is Eula's biggest strength, and we want to hear the biggest flaw? Let's be honest here. How many people really make it to the very end of the podcast? Probably not many. So these are the lucky people going to hear a really, really solid question.
I think Eula's biggest strength is how much the Rabbi care about their Talmidim.
I 100% agree.
It's
That's a great point.
there's the guys in Eula, the guys in the yeshiva, they don't even scratch the surface with what they know that happens behind the scenes. What Rebbeim are willing to do for their Talmidim. It's what excites me to come to Eula every day, to work with such devoted, dedicated, special Rebbeim. We all truly care about you. I think that's its biggest strength. A flaw. I think so. Our biggest strength at times could also be our biggest flaw. And what I mean by that is when you care so much about your Talmidim, you don't want to disappoint them. And then when you don't want to disappoint them, sometimes maybe you didn't give them the mussar they needed at that moment because you didn't want it to get in the way of something. Or maybe sometimes, you cut them some slack where maybe it would have been better for them to not cut them some slack. So I think that flaw is rooted in
Strength itself.
in the strength itself. And I think it's something that we're getting better at. It's something that we're getting better at. But I think ultimately it comes down to what Eula is all about. And that's, it's a place that loves their Talmidim. It's a place that cares for their Talmidim. It's a place that takes tremendous pride in their Talmidim. And it's a place that no matter where I end up in my life, no matter what, I will always be proud to say, I worked at Eula. I was Alicia's Rebbe. I was Sok's Rebbe. I was Barak's Rebbe. I'm saying that's the greatest chus in the world. I left Deloitte and I'll end with this because I don't think you have any more
I'm gonna
questions.
wrap it up here.
I left Deloitte. I did not leave Deloitte to become a head of school.
Mm-hmm.
I left Deloitte to become a Rebbe, which is why I still give shir every day, which is why I still sit in the tent,
The Ol Yisrael.
the Ol Yisrael,
Kones will never end.
and it's why I'll still take 12th graders into my
We
shir.
didn't talk about why you chose a Kones though. That was a big question. Why is that your parent?
We could cover that.
It is a good barrack.
But that's why I left Deloitte, which is why when I became principal, I never gave up shir. When I became head of school, I never gave up shir. And then when the merger happened, I never gave up shir. Because I never left Deloitte to become the head of school at Eula. That's just something that Hashem gave me over time. I left Deloitte to be a Rebbe. And with the bracha of my wife and my family, and that's why I did it. And the greatest privilege I have is to be a Rebbe at Eula. Is the head of school's part of the job, but the greatest part of my job is being a Rebbe.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much, Rav.
Wow, Rob, thanks so much for coming on. Had a blast.
Rob, how did I know Peter Venkman?
How do you explain?
How did I know?
Can I tell you? Because I didn't know Peter Venkman. That's why it's so crazy.
Google search.
The Ghostbuster bit was something I've said in cheer before without Peter Venkman, and then I was pushing Purim with the Ghostbusters, like let's not be outside, and I Googled what was the name of the Ghostbuster, and it came up to Peter Venkman, and like 10 minutes before. And then, you completely threw me off.
But then, it was so funny because you directly asked questions straight to me. Like, it was the entire base. You asked it
We're
to
in sync.
me.
It's like he knew.
And I was just like, oh, Ghostbusters.
So how did you know that?
Knowledge.
He's a narp.
Did you hear,
It's a
did
narp.
you
It's
hear
a
me
narp.
say it
It's
at
a
the
narp.
Sephardic
I had
meeting?
literally no clue. No.
Rob, it's a narp. It's a narp type of
That's
thing.
just knowledge. That's just so cool knowledge.
That's unbelievable.
It's a narp.
It's
Okay,
unbelievable.
Rob.
Thank you.
Rob, thanks so
Right,
much.
Keep
Wow.
spreading the light.
That was Boys in the Base.
Next time.
See you next time.